As a child growing up in the Bounds community, she gave of her talent to her family and friends, and later on at nearby Hopewell School, and later here at Tremont High School. She gave of her talent to her fellow students and faculty, with one teacher saying, "You could rake the talent off of her." She had the gift and she shared it. She didn't hide it, which might have resulted in losing it, as it states in the Bible. Singing to friends and family wasn't enough. There were others to share it with. First off, she started in Birmingham, Alabama on the Country Boy Eddie show. She gave to the people there their early morning gift of her singing. Next to receive it was Nashville. Sometimes it's not always easy to give, even with a talent, but she struggled determined. Billy Sherrill knew a gift when he saw it, and he took it. Not only for himself, but for literally the world. But even once the world found out about her and what she possessed, there was still a struggle. Like the song says, there were good times and there'll be bad times. She knew what a gift her fans were to her. They were those that helped to make her a success. She never turned down an autograph or request for a picture, and she always thanked the person for asking. Her children and her grandchildren, whom she adored, were a gift to her. Her charity work covered school benefits for Red Bay High School, to Saving the Rainforest, to numerous charity organizations. And we want to share her gift with everyone else. After all that she did and gave to the community, we want to honor and keep alive her memory and the gifts she gave to the world. Her music, her love for her fans, family, and friends, her hard work ethic, songs that she wrote that she herself said, "I lived every word I wrote."
I knew Tammy all of her life. I knew her from a small child, and I knew her as a country music artist. And she always had such an amazing talent, even as just a child. At Bounds Crossroads, she'd play the old piano in the auditorium, and we would sing, but she would sing "I'm His Rock and Roll Ruby," and she could just make cold chills run all over you, and the girls would say, "She just freezes me to death," because she had such a she had such a great high-pitched voice that she could just reach into your soul with it, and she always told me, she said, if I ever make it, we'd sang together, "If I ever make it, I'll help you, Agnes." And I said, "Well, if I ever make it, I'll help you."
I'm Holly Ford, and I was a classmate with Wynett, as she is known now, Tammy Wynett. I think she started when she was in the 9th grade. And the book that was recently out, I think I mentioned in there that the day she started, it was just like a big wind came through, and then nothing was ever the same after that. Agnes and I was talking today. It wasn't any great shock to us that she became famous. We just seemed to somehow just know that she would be famous one day, and it just seemed to be such a natural thing. When she did make her first record, which was Apartment Number 9, it just seemed like, that's the way it should be. It was just not like we was all in shock, or we were in awe, definitely, but it wasn't this big just, "Oh, have you heard, can you believe," and all this stuff that you normally do. We just knew that that would be one day, and we was all so happy for her, and she gave us so much joy in our lives. I think Wynett, that's what we call her, Wynett, I think she taught us how to be happy and how to enjoy life, because if she was in the group, there was nothing but good times. And she entertained us at recess, lunch hours, or any time, or you could just meet her practically on the sidewalk and say, "Wynett, sing me one little line of such and such song." She would just instantly start singing. And one thing that I remember, the picture that's over there where she was Miss Tremont High, the prom that year, in fact, her first husband, Upel, and Billy Brewer, that's in that picture, and we left the prom, and she had sung this song. It was kind of an alma mater type thing that she wrote, and it was one of those, I don't know, alma maters make me cry, and I had just cried all through it. And when we got in the car, I kept saying, "Wynett, just sing it one more time." And I couldn't tell you how many times, I bet those two guys thought the next time they have a prom, we'll get different dates, because all she did was sing, and I cried. But she just had that way, and as Agnes told me earlier, anybody that can make you have chills or make you cry, they're going to be a hit. Thank you.
Well, I was around Tammy about 20 years, I guess, somewhere around there, maybe 15 somewhere. Played in the band with the Jones boys, with them. Played rhythm guitar. I mean, she was a fine person, and on stage, I'd worked with many people. I was staff bass player at one time off the Grand Ole Opry with people, but Tammy was one of the most graceful people in the entertainment business. And when she was on stage, she had people at their very attention, and really had control of the stage. And anybody that's ever worked with her would tell you that she was very much deserves the name of First Lady of Country Music, and that's what she was, First Lady.
Now the book that you gave us, is that your picture on the
Yes,
cover?
sir. I was 16 years old, and that was made at the fairgrounds at Liberty at Fairgrounds in Memphis.
Okay. And Mackie, if you will tell me about your grandfather was a
John Wallace, yes, sir.
Okay. And he
was married and had a family of his own, and he lived close to Rosella Presley. And they started an affair, and it lasted for 30 years. And they had 5 kids. And all the kids that Rosella had took the Presley name. She wasn't married. But that's not the point. We're not trying to do anything to hurt no family. It's just history's history. And Vernon and Elvis were good to me. I was in and out of the gates of Graceland for 20 years.
So Vernon came from that.
Vernon come from Jesse D. In other words, Rosella and John Wallace started Jesse D. They had Jesse D, and then here comes Vernon, and then Elvis, and the greatest entertainer in the world come out of their relationship. He had 2 daughters by his family, by his wife. He had 2 kids. He had a Jesse by his real wife, and he had a Robbie by his real wife. He had a Robbie by Rosella Presley, and he had a Jesse, which is Elvis's grandfather, by Rosella Presley. And it's known fact for 50 years that Rosella wasn't married, and everybody had to have a father. I mean, that's history. But they respected me and treated me like family, and that's why I'm trying to honor Vernon here for Etowah County. My father was killed in World War II, and his markers at the courthouse at Fulton, Etowah County. And I never saw my father, but it was amazing for me being a teenager to drive up there and be around the limousines, and there he was. Priscilla was up there. She was about 15 years old. I've got pictures with her, and I saw a lot of changes over 20 years up there.
Elvis was always giving people things and gifts.
Well,
did he give you anything?
I guess that's why I was there for 20 years. I never asked for anything. I wasn't there. I never went to a concert. I just go see Vernon and Elvis. You know, I never even went to a concert. Now, we'd sing together at the fairgrounds. He'd like to sing at the fairgrounds. He'd rent Liberty Land from midnight till daylight. Bumper cars, roller coasters, and we went to theaters. And he rented those from midnight till daylight. It was a different world. He'd sleep all day, stay up all night. It was something. And I was very fortunate. I didn't know at that time that they didn't let too many relatives up there. Even the ones from Tupelo, you never see pictures nowhere. I was very fortunate for 20 years to be with them. I was closer to Vernon. I mean, I'd go see Vernon, and Elvis wouldn't even be there. I mean, he'd be in California filming. And I spent most of my time with Vernon, which it was nice to be in the house, in the yard, and around with him. But I wasn't up there just at one time to make a picture with Elvis. I wanted to be with all my family, you know, and that's all my pictures shows that. John Wallace was married to my grandmother McFadden. And
Which
they
one of their daughters? Which one of their daughters was your grandmother?
Oh, my grandmother was Eleanor. She was the oldest daughter of John Wallace, and she told me when Elvis was getting famous. They all knew it, but it was more or less a kind of a, it didn't get out of the family much. But anyway, it was kind of quiet, and I kept quiet for 50 years. It was from 1959 till about 2 years ago. I never put these pictures nowhere. Never been in I didn't go no tabloid to try to get $100 for a little story. I know this is not just about me. This is about Etowah County and Vernon, and all the bloodline come from Etowah County. Minnie Hood, Rosella Presley, my grandfather John Wallace, Jesse D's dad. Everything, the blood started here. It just went over to Tupelo, but it all started in these hills right here.